I'm Adam Good. I'm co-founder and CEO of Auric Essentials, and this is our third podcast or video that we're doing during Community VC, and it's titled Health Tech and Wellness Using Scent. I'm just going to go round the grounds. Who's on today? Maybe start with my co-founder, Alex.
Hey, I'm Alex. Obviously, you guys hopefully know me by now. Obviously, co-founder, CTO. That's all that probably needs to be said right now.
Don't be shy. Girls first.
Hi everyone. Dr. Sophia Moscovis. I joined Auric in July last year, 2024. My role with Auric is a strategic advisor, focusing on healthcare innovation and digital transformation. And it's lovely to be here. I can give a bit of background about me in a minute.
Yeah, I'm Dean Gladstone. I work in the health and wellness world. Really passionate about breathwork and nervous system regulation, and look forward to weaving that into Auric.
Awesome. Look, we are in the Community VC Health channel, and there's been lots of good, robust conversations about scent and scientific research in and around aromatherapy. And I thought this was a really good opportunity to sort of talk about the research that is available today, and also what we see our role in collecting evidence. And so maybe, Sophia, you could give a little bit of background of the world of scent and aromatherapy as it stands today.
Thanks, Adam. So I guess a little bit of background on me to start with. I've got a PhD in immunology and genetics. I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry for over 10 years, looking at, a lot of chronic diseases. I then got into the digital health space, and now I'm working at a biotech, an ASX-listed biotech, Race Oncology, as VP of Strategy and Operations. So I've obviously got expertise in the deep science area, and I was really fascinated about aromatherapy personally. There's actually a lot of evidence out there in the aromatherapy space. I think from a medical perspective, it's not really being unearthed and utilised, but from a wellness perspective, we've really seen an uprise in aromatherapy and the use of essential oils, and how it can help people optimise, their health and well-being. And I just think that's a really interesting space at the moment. I'm really seeing a lot more evidence that's being generated in this space as well, and there's meta-analysis that are being underway.
Yeah, look, I think the questions people have around aromatherapy, there's obviously different grades of essential oils, and I think our research, which Sunny expressed, there was no doubt that TGA approval, having more of those therapeutic oils seems to be where people would gravitate to. Do you think sometimes aromatherapy's just got a bad rap because of some of the toxins that can be in some of those cheap sort of pharmacy side of things, or do you feel where TGA are going in essential oils is the way that they grade them around therapeutic is going to only increase people's usage of it? Like, where do you see that?
Well, I think to be a listed product with the TGA, there's a level of quality that's required, and evidence that's required to be able to list a product as well. Obviously, in the complementary medicine space, it's not as rigorous as you would for a pharmaceutical product where you're treating a disease. But when you're looking at optimizing your own well-being, obviously having something that's approved by the regulatory body in Australia has a higher level of, I guess, rigor behind the product, as opposed to something that hasn't had to go through that process.
Yeah, I think that's right. And look, when I first was working on this idea, I always, in my heart of hearts, just always had a better wellness experience if there was scent. So whether it's having too much time in Bali or yoga retreats, and I've always felt that my meditation practice is always going to get enhanced when there's aromas, and that was sort of the original kind of concept. Wouldn't it be good if you just press a button or scent actually just get rid of that friction point? It might be a good point from you, Dino. You live and breathe this space literally. Tell me, I mean, you can't just rely on the scent to improve your wellness. There's a series of practices that need to happen at the same time.
Yeah, well, we're seeing the scent stimulate and I guess remind people we've got that positive feedback loop, right? It is, well, we don't want to say it's a placebo, but if you believe something's good for you, it's good for you. There's a lot of evidence to support this. We know how busy the population is, and just taking a couple of moments to smell the roses, quite literally, is so good for us all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the placebo or the Pavlov's dog theory, I mean, that's we openly talk about that. I mean, the problem that we're trying to solve is that we don't want people just to suddenly come home and feel that the only way they can change their mood is to take a glass of wine or to sit on the couch and doom scroll on Instagram. If you can have those mood adjustments and scent sort of triggers those, so to move you from, I now need to be in deep focus mode, or I now need to be relaxed with the family, or now I need a good night's sleep, or now I need some energy.
Yeah, the cumulative effect over time to someone's health is really a little bit challenging to measure all those key points, and over time, if they sleep better or if there's less stress on the relationship, it could really, completely change someone's life, these small positive practices.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good point to emphasize that, aromatherapy, sort of the idea that, maybe a lavender is going to cure your disease or something like that is not really what we're kind of going for here. It's sort of a combination of practices, like you said, Dean, to pair with like sort of your breathing techniques and meditation and sort of like creating these habits and rituals throughout your daily life. And that's really what at Auric we're kind of trying to emphasize, and scent is sort of a driving factor for a lot of the development of these new habits for someone.
Yeah, well, Adam mentioned it, and there's a huge shift in the population away from alcohol. And instead of coming home and pouring yourself the glass of wine, love people coming home and getting essential oils out, doing breath work, and those smells of being in nature. We just know there's evidence there that downregulates our nervous system.
And I think on that topic of alcohol as well, like a big side effect of alcohol is the impact on sleep, and you need quality sleep really to be able to repair the damage. So, I work in cancer at the moment, obviously got a background in genetics. So that repair of the damage that has been created through the day through sleep is so ultra important. And that happens, and people that have practiced all sorts of types of, whether it's breath work or meditation, there's a certain wavelength of sleep quality that you get through certain cycles, and alcohol actually disrupts that process. So, and I guess that's what I love about essential oils. And I think it really is an untapped component to optimizing sleep and wellness, and the science behind that repair process that sleep does derive. So yeah, I'm ultra curious to explore more about how the Auric, and particularly, particular essential oils that have got evidence already. So there's frankincense and lavender that have evidence to back that there is, a more relaxed state and the ability to remain asleep as well. So yeah, it's super exciting what we can look at with Auric with these particular blends or even essential oils on their own to see how they're impacting our users and what we can learn from that.
Yes, but I'm expecting the data as we get it to quickly show it for the people that are pre-tracking, so we can compare before and after. I see with small changes in breath work that people's heart rate decreases over time. And although it's only a couple of beats per minute, you would know, doctor, how significant that is. In a year, it's hundreds of thousands of beats when you multiply it out. And a lower heart rate is a great indication of less stress. And ultimately, cardiovascular disease is the number one killer worldwide.
Quality, like the lower your heart rate is during your sleep, the less your body has to do supplying oxygen to the body. So yeah, if it can do less, if the heart's doing less during your sleep, then that's actually a good thing. And yeah, so I love the idea of being able to get biometrics on people's sleep, like their heart rate variability, also their resting heart rate during their sleep. So anyone like wearing a Apple Watch or an Oura Ring, being able to integrate that with the Auric and the Aromasphere to be able to analyze that. And it's probably a bit too hard to say, Dino, when we're going to be able to tell that data, but we'll have to first observe, and look for signals, and then we can start looking at creating like a clinical trial type design of no intervention and intervention, and looking at the differences in these biometrics. So
yeah, you're a bit more scientific than me.
Well, it starts with a hypothesis, Dino, and I think there's enough evidence, a reason to believe that we're going to see signals here. So no, it'll be really exciting. But yeah, I guess part of my role of being involved with Auric is to provide that scientific rigor, but behind the evidence that we're going to generate.
Yeah, I think I might just sort of talk a little bit about how Auric kind of what evidence we are using right now. I mean, so as I said, I was just in my own personal wellness journey, just felt that scent was improving my own wellness journey, and my meditation was better, my yoga classes was always better if there was good scent. Wellness studios were always better. And I was kind of like, why is that so? And as you start to look at the research, there was hundreds of them. There's hundreds and hundreds of studies in aromatherapy, and so I started to onboard them and build up a nice big list of PDF documents and studies, and ultimately that informed the 8 oils that we're using to sort of get you started in the Aromasphere. It also informed that, when you press focus, the oil blend would be the right oils for focus and the right oils for sleep. And that was really important to the product development, that messy to blend, and sort of not being able to get to aromatherapy quickly because you had to, there was a bit of friction in setting it up and putting the water in and finding the oils, and you didn't really know which oils they were anyway. You had to do a bit of research. So we did all that. But then we went another level deeper. We started to look at those studies and started to understand, well, what sort of people were in those controlled studies. And some of them were very, big concerning issues like, lacking sleep and anxiety and full-blown depression, and people were open to use all sorts of different levels of therapy to do that. So they used aromas, and sometimes it's movement therapy, sometimes it's music therapy, and really that's when we started to realize that we're onto something, and we wanted to build an algorithm from that. And then when the biometric data started to come into play, we realized, well, we could start to actually have a base load of a person coming and using the Aromasphere. It's not mandatory in the product, but you can ask a few health questionnaires and you can onboard your biometric data, and we can start to say, well, based on what we already know, and it's not very much yet, we still think this is the first ritual that you should start, and we would like you to maybe schedule your morning calm ritual, or maybe you prefer to get going with an energy ritual, or this is a better time to go to sleep. So that ultimately is the research where we're at, and we think we'll be able to get more research to infuse other findings in the future. So again, we've talked about it a lot this week in just having this core belief at Auric that we believe that scent is that missing link in personalized wellness. We think it's a very powerful, underutilized sense in modern health technology. And if you can combine that with this intelligence of digital, and then the intelligence of smart homes, and maybe dimming the light a particular way, or putting on a particular playlist of music, that was a really worthy cause and ambition of what we wanted to do. So, maybe it's back to both of you, Dino and Sophia, on that. As we start to see, like any algorithm, like Netflix kind of starts to understand preferences of which comedy you should be, or what horror movies or shows that you watch. As we start to get a little bit of that sort of algorithm in place, where do you think we could go in terms of studies? Or it's probably not clinical trials, but what area could be interesting there?
I'm happy to kick off, but for me, I've probably alluded to it already in the conversation, but sleep, I think, will be really interesting. I'd love to be able to show that, get some evidence to show that we're able to improve people's hours or minutes of sleep, even if it's an extra 15 minutes through Lavender. I've personally used, I've got a diffuser, it sits in my lounge room. I've never put it into my bedroom. Do you know what I mean? So and I don't even think to turn it on when it's in the morning. So I'm kind of like, I love the idea of having the Aromasphere in the bedroom. It's not producing any water, which is great, because you don't want more water going into a closed space, particularly if you're in the city of Sydney with all the humidity we already have. But so I love that idea of having a device in the bedroom, releasing, a ritual that's promoting quality sleep, and being able to show real results on that and how it can improve people's lives. Because I think that's one of the greatest levers that we can have on our wellness journey, is to get better quality sleep.
What you said, Adam, makes me think about James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, and it's a habit stacking thing that supports everything. Our scent, there's been a lot of talk about the vagus nerve, and the olfactory nerve really stimulates a lot of memories. But the coming home, putting on the Auric instead of going for the glass of wine, that habit affects your sleep. Sleeping better affects maybe you exercising or not the next day, and your choices, your dietary choices those mornings. So the flow-on effect is just huge, and it's, how do we quantify that? It's it's not a question I can answer, but I know people will love it.
Yeah, we think so, and our early beta testing is quite exciting. And I know with when Alex joined, when we met in the Antler residency, I think there's a bit more of the wellness sort of the angle to that, but we've navigated to realize that wellness is essential. It's sort of the ultimate goal that people are working towards, but just a mood shift and a mood change is really important as well. And that second core belief that we have, intelligent environments need intelligent scent kind of idea. We've been talking to a number of different compliance side, like it's called a Matter compliance, so your device to be able to work in your IoT ecosystem, so it can work with your lighting and work with your intelligent vacuum cleaner and work with the doorbell going off. But that sort of combination, I think, is really interesting in a wellness environment to pull that together. I know, Alex, you get excited about Auric working with the doorbell going up and Sense going just as much as it working with some breath exercises that Dino will do in the app. I mean, maybe you can talk a little bit about how that sort of app experience might be to the user.
And potentially mood and wellness could be used interchangeably, because if you come home in a bad mood and you put that and you're in a good mood, your heart rate's higher, your blood pressure's higher, then your mood has changed, and it's your wellness. I think that the language is potentially interchangeable, and we just want it open to everyone, whatever is the most friendly language that will be adopted by people.
Yeah, for sure. And I think James Clear touches on this in Atomic Habits as well. When you kind of want to develop a habit, you kind of need to make it as easy and as accessible as possible. And that's a big focus for us in developing not only the Aromasphere but the app experience. The ability to sort of schedule your different rituals or the sort of different desired mood states at different parts of the day, so that when you do get home, the first thing you do is not go grab a glass of wine, turn on the TV. It's, okay, go start the the breath ritual with a sort of a calming ritual, and we built that into the app, or we're building that into the app as one of our features. Is Dean will sort of walk you through guided meditation and guided breath work alongside the Aromasphere dispensing a certain combination of aromas, as well as that, the lighting and the music aspect to that as well. And if we make that whole experience as simple and seamless as possible, then hopefully we can win more people over into jumping into that when they get home, or when they're stressed, or when they're needing that certain mood shift, rather than heading towards the easier option, which is the Netflix and binge watching your TV shows and a bottle of wine or whatever that might be.
Sugary food.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we say we're a mood as a service, people, it's a lean in kind of idea, what you're trying to do. And of course, mood is if you're going to provide a mood service, you're going to have to do a lot more than just provide scent. But I think what we see with the product in mood, I mean, some people might want to trigger a good scent in the home just to get rid of a smell, like their pets or their dog smell, and because it's just really important. They don't want to just rush home and go, it smells a bit stuffy or whatever. If you can just automatically just change that and make them feel that little bit better, I think that is you're on the wellness journey to there. I know another advisor, Melissa, as you know, she always talks about Auric as like the 3-minute ab roller of your health conscious world. You kind of got to get started. You can go into learning full-blown meditation. It's going to take a while. You can go to Dino's clinics and retreats, which I highly recommend you all do. But that's a real effort. That's a real effort of that. But it's that, let's put a product like scent and schedule those, and just allow people to get a little alert that it's time now to shift from a focus kind of mode and into a calming mode, because the kids are coming home from school and it's just time to just make that little adjustment. And if scent's going to support that, then we're going a long way towards it, and we'll look at ways that we can do the right tracking on that. Mood as a service means we have to be HIPAA compliant and comply to a lot of data regulatory rules on that. I don't know whether there's any last topic that people might want to add, but I think we've come to a more natural conclusion here. But is there anything anybody wants to add before we end? I think we're done. There we go. Look, thank you, Dino, Sophia, for you've been busy with me, Alex and I, this week. It's been a big week, so hopefully we'll put this post out right now. Hopefully everybody on Community VC that have got some questions, they can reach out to us all. So thank you very much for your time, and head to auric.au and find out more. All right.
Thanks, everyone. Nice to see you all.
Thank you.
Bye.